All right. First of all, Happy New Year. We back in the building. You know what time it is. It's the one and only, your weeklies on crypto, blockchain, AI. It's the Unfiltered Chat with yours truly, your host of the most of the time here in sunny side Dubai. Markose right here. And of course, we got the wonderful, the amazing George from blockchain, DXB.
And soon to be Bitcoin DXB as well, probably in 2 weeks' time.
Oh man! Wow. All right. Okay. I see you, man. We got a lot going on, man. I know we took a couple of weeks break and stuff. Enjoy the holidays. Celebrations, fam. You name it. But man, there's a lot going on. But also there are a lot of things that we also gotta keep in mind, be aware, right? Like certain dates, certain events. And too many distractions right now. So we gotta help. We got set the stage, set the pace. Get people focused. So
yep.
Yeah,
and firstly, Happy New Year to you, Markose, and Happy New Year to our listeners as well. And hopefully, 2025, despite not having a great start, hopefully once President Donald Trump gets sworn in, things hopefully might reflect better for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, you mentioned about key dates. And this is something we did actually briefly touch base on, Unfiltered Chat as well. So there are 3 dates, Markose, that, we need to keep an eye on, keeping in mind the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The first one is the 15th of January 2025. That is when the CPI numbers, by the inflation numbers, will be out. And that directly and indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The second one is the 20th of Jan 2025. Where President Trump will be re-elected, or rather sworn in, And like it or not, that will impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And then the 29th of Jan, and this is the FOMC meeting. And last time, Markose, we saw what happened when the FOMC meeting was out. I was under the impression that Federal Chair Jerome Powell will not be reducing the interest rate, but he went ahead and reduced the interest rate, which in hindsight was great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But what happened is, mainstream media, they did go ahead and put out a completely different narrative, and that is what did actually drive down the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, talking about mainstream media putting out their own narrative, Markose, what did actually happen just a few days ago, and this is going on for the last few days, there is economic data that is being released, and these economic data are released in different batches. So, one day we have the labor market report, the second day we have something else, and then you have the supply chain management, and that is one thing which we did actually talk about that did lead to the Kamala crash, going back to, I believe, 5th of August. So these reports are published pretty much every month, but there are a couple of dates where what I feel, Markose, is this: the reports are great, but mainstream media, they put out a completely different narrative, and like it or not, it is that narrative that drives down the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying that what they're saying is 100% wrong. I would say at least 80% of that is completely wrong. 20% of that is right. So one of the reasons why, Markose, I'm pretty much sure you've noticed as well, the price of Bitcoin did actually bump up to well over $101,000. But right now it is down to again $94,000, isn't it? And the only reason why...
Yeah, 94. I think might have hit 93, depending on which market. But yeah, I think you're right. 94.
So the reason why the prices have actually gone down is because the US Economic Outlook report is published. Now, what I recommend all our listeners to do is go to the Federal Reserve Board website, and they have actually published the entire same report. So there's essentially a transcript of a speech. So what happens is, the chairperson, he goes and it gives a speech based on this report. So you can go ahead and listen to the entire session. It is a Zoom invite session, so you need to go ahead and put in your email login and password. And they have a recorded version, or you can go ahead and read through the entire transcript. Now, Markose, I read through it over and over again, and the US Economic Outlook is great for the US economy. So in an idealistic world, this should be positive for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But what is happening, Markose, is mainstream media, they are putting out a completely different narrative. Now, my big question is, could it be possible that they are being lobbied by billionaires and trillionaires who know that the US economy is doing great, and they know that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be pumping up, probably in the next months or so. And is that the reason why they are asking them to go out and say that, the US is heading towards inflation, heading towards recession, which, by the way, it is not. And when the prices are going down, they are the ones who are buying a lot of Bitcoin. That is what I'm thinking. So I'm not sure, Markose, if you did get a chance to go through the economic outlook report, or did you hear anything via mainstream media talking about it?
No, I haven't. I haven't read the reports and stuff. Man, I need some time. Yeah. But when it comes, just seeing how Bitcoin dropped, right? But also at the same time, I know it's relatively. I think it's not really like a. Like the numbers is not that bad. Things have improved quite well. Just there is a sort of like a positive outlook, but I think what we're seeing right now is just a classic case of in the crypto space we have what we call the whales, right? We have a couple of whales or certain kinds of whales who are actually disrupting the market. So. This is what is happening, and not just in crypto, but you're also going to see situations where, there are some elements of recession or something like that, but the thing is that like you have certain groups who are using the media, and again some of these media outlets are not independent; they are owned by certain kinds of people, certain kinds of companies. So there's a lot going on. I think nothing is black and white. I mean, that's the thing. Like there are some things, like it is kind of this somebody or some folks are messing around. Yep. So, but that doesn't mean that we both are ignoring, hey, what's the ground realities on on the local level, on the market level. So, but again, like I guess when the last couple of weeks when we looked over, listened to Jerome Powell talked about the economy and all that stuff, it wasn't that for bad news. So, and obviously like not. It's obvious like, a lot of people are not listening to that conference or that session. It is kind of boring. It is quite wordy.
It is very boring.
Like wordy, but, numbers and stuff. Yeah. So, but a lot of people are taking like offhand, information from other people.
And that is what is driving the price, isn't it? You said absolutely spot on.
Yeah. So I guess obviously there is a big there is a big gap in the marketplace. So so obviously look, you want to take advantage of this information data arbitrage. Yeah. So only later you'll see like people find out, oh wait, things are good, and then all the good assets are taken away. So I mean, look. I'll tell you this, like, things are down. Now, this is a good time to, buy, like, good crypto projects or good assets or whatever, like, which are on discount.
Yep.
So, because I personally feel, look, we are still in the process of getting into the bull run. That's how I say it. I mean, this is just more of a personal conviction play. By no means, by no stretch of the imagination, I'm how you say, like a trader or something like that. But I'm seeing like, wait a minute, there's some good stuff going on. So, this is also a reminder for, you and me, George, and also people who are listening in. And there's one lesson to take out of it, that fear is really a great way of controlling people, controlling large groups of people.
Spot on, yeah.
Whether religiously, politically, even economics too. I mean, like, man, culturally too. Yeah. I mean, you're seeing all kinds of craziness going on all around the world. I mean, I'm sure we have some Indian audience too. I know some of you guys may have faced some sort of anti-Indian sentiments, what's taking place. So, but don't let fear, derail you.
Are you talking with reference to H-1B visa?
Yeah. So with the H-1B visa
is great. I think what Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy and Trump has agreed is great for Indian visas, Markose. I'm not sure.
I guess I have a different take on it because again, like when it started out as I know we apologize, but I guess my view is like the initial start of H1 was a good thing because it brought the best, the creme de la creme of India and other places.
This time they want to increase the quota.
But after that, like the second wave of Indians who came in, let me put it this way, like because I noticed even like the kinds of folks coming to India and Canada stuff, they're not the brightest, they're not the greatest. And a lot of it I blame companies like Infosys and all these outsourcing companies, these IT outsourcing companies. They are basically slave merchants. So not only is it good for the American people, but it's also not good for the Indians as well who are coming to America because their salaries is held by these companies.
Yeah.
So,
but regarding H1B,
so I think that's something we could have a different. Have a different. I don't know if we have time for it, but
we will
definitely have a lot to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I do have a different take on this. So
what I'd recommend listeners to do is read through the tweet by Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm pretty much sure a lot of them have not read through the tweet. But in a nutshell, Markose, they're actually planning to increase the quota for Indians to go to the United States of America. So the percentage is actually increasing. And
and I get that, yeah.
So
no, but I guess it's just fine. But I guess the main question is who are the kind of people who are coming into the country, and this is going to be the heart of the matter. Like, It wouldn't matter like how many, because even still then, obviously, like without the H1B visa thing and stuff, see the best Indians, the best foreigners, they'll be able to enter the United States no matter what. You know, there are what do you say, like old visas, exceptional visas and all that stuff. That's not a problem for the best. But the question is that the H1B program has been screwed over. I mean, the kind of job they have.
In the past, yes.
But even now, too, even the best it was before, but now, there's a lot of corruption going on. So, the ones who are really screwing over the U.S. government and the Indian people, and also American people, are some of these big corporates because, you're getting an H1B visa for like a low level accounting job or
which they want to change.
This is where this is where but again, like a lot of these, but there's a lot of detail like it's not been covered by the mainstream media, and this is where you got to listen to a lot of these. This is why I started to listen to anti-establishment folks, who are outside of Vivek and Trump and all that stuff because
this H1B visa.
There's some really interesting.
The debate started because of Vivek Ramaswamy's tweet, and I read the tweet and I thought it is great. It just means more Indians get a chance to go to the United States of America. They will be getting paid more as well. And that is what a lot of some people are not liking it, and they're putting out an exactly opposite narrative. Elon Musk has agreed to
for us, it's fine too. But,
Trump has agreed to it as well, that we want more legal immigration. So
okay, maybe to you it is, but to most Americans, they're like,
yes.
But think about them. Most of them are MAGA. The other thing about it, it's America first. Why the hell are we talking about, getting more Indians to come in and stuff? Within the United States too, I mean, you have a lot of there's a lot of how do you say, cultural annoyance or, disturbance, within the black communities and the Hispanic communities and stuff. And also first generation Indians as well too. So they're like, wait, we need to talk about what's happening in the United States. Mm-hmm. Who gives a damn about Canada or
but just for
getting more Indians? So this is where I think Vivek has doubled down on it, and he kind of put himself in a very bad spot. So even also Elon Musk as well too. So I wouldn't give these guys as geniuses.
Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and even President Trump, they have agreed to the H1B visa. So because my cousin is in United States,
they will. Yeah. I mean, they will though.
So it's a great news. I think it's a great news, Markose. But that is maybe something we can talk about it later on as we get time.
But remember Trump's his main stance, make America first. So this is where
get Indians legally,
again the American the voters, They voted him on that.
Yes,
They didn't vote. They're not voting on all this stuff.
no,
This is a whole big difference.
As long as they are legal migrants, Markose, be it India, be it even Pakistan, be it even Iran, if they are legal migrants, and if they are doing great for the economy, I think every marker would definitely support
No,
it.
sure. That's like that's like every immigration thing. But keep in mind that the H-1B visa thing has a lot of corruption because there are folks who are talking about, hey, look, how come these are getting visas for such low-level jobs which other Americans can do? Now, of course, you can make another argument that do Americans want those kinds of jobs?
Yeah,
that's a whole different case. But
we're talking about the top prof jobs like engineers and scientists.
Trump and even Elon Musk too. They haven't gone after Trump as hard yet, but with Elon and Vivek, they have gone pretty hard. And this is like, are they really America first? So you're talking about politics, right? So this is where these guys are lost touch. They lost touch on that. I mean, Elon also gone taking a lot of people's their blue checks and verified checks and stuff. So it looked bad on him, but so far Trump hasn't got any heat from that yet. But we'll see after the presidency. That will be a different case. But yeah,
Trump and Elon Musk, Markose, and even Vivek Ramaswamy, they have agreed with the H-1B visa. They want more legal migrants to come into the United States of America. So I
mean that's a good political point. But I mean the devil's always in the detail. Then that's the thing where a lot of these other Americans are talking about. They don't care about great and all. Yeah, that's a good point. Anyone can talk about it.
High-profile jobs, and they want a lot of Indians to actually join in. Because my cousin is in the United States, he was like, man, this is actually great. So, my cousin, he's just... And he's in Arizona.
Yeah.
But maybe we can talk about that, because that is not connected
to
the price of Bitcoin and
cryptocurrencies
and such. But let's going back to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Markose. Regarding the US economic report, what I'd recommend listeners to do is if they go to the Federal Bureau website, the Federal Reserve Board website, the report is called as an assessment of the economy and financial stability, and it literally touches base on 5 things. I won't get into detail because it'll get boring, but what listeners can do is, they can go to the website. The link will be in the show notes. What you can do is you can put it into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it. But now what that report states is that so far as the US economy is concerned, there is a strong growth and there's a 3.1% GDP increase in Q3. So that is definitely great, and there is low unemployment as well. And regarding inflation, Markose, and this is going back to the CPI numbers, it is actually down to 2.4%, but the target range that they're looking at is 2%. Now, it might take maybe 2026 or 2027 for the inflation numbers to reach there. And the report also touches base on the monetary policy. And this is the area, Markose, where a lot of drama is being created. Now, this is what depends on, how you interpret this data. Now, Federal Chair Jerome Powell, he did actually comment in one of the question and answer session, Markose, that in 2025, he will be reducing the interest rate maybe 3 or 4 times. But now, because the inflation is already going down, he's saying there's no point in reducing the inflation or reducing the interest rate anymore. But what mainstream media is putting it across is that Jerome Powell does not want to go out and reduce the interest rate, and that would cause inflation, which, to be honest, 80% is not true and 20% is the gray area, and that is what is causing the price of Bitcoin to go down. So the example, Markose, which we talked about in the last Unfiltered chat as well, is let's say if you have to take medication. Let's say the first month you're taking medication 3 or 4 times in a day, but if your body is healing fine, now you don't have to take the medication 3 or 4 times. You can reduce it to 2 times, reduce it to 1 time, isn't it? There's no point taking the medication 3 or 4 times, and that is the best analogy I can think of as to why Fed Chair Jerome Powell will not be reducing the interest rate in 2025. Because inflation is gradually going down, the unemployment number is looking great. Now you can make an argument that, the details that is going in that is manipulated, and that is a completely different topic altogether. And this goes back to, Doge. So what Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk want to do is, they want to go ahead and make this particular data that Fed is taking completely open source. And one of the things, which they are working on is, Markose, they want the decision to be done real time. Because right now, the data that the Federal Reserve Board is looking at, this is almost a month back. Certain cases even going back to 45 days. So the decision that they are making now is based on information going back to what happened in November and December, which does not seem right, because by the time you go ahead and make the changes, the numbers will be reflected. So what the Doge department, what they want to do is they want to make this data completely real time. At the same time, they want people to go ahead and have access to where the information is coming from as well. So let's say if there is any manipulation going on, something similar to how Bitcoin's code is, it is completely open source, isn't it? So absolutely anyone can go ahead and validate these codes. So that is essentially what it is. Now the only thing, and this might be the first time, Markose, at the Federal Reserve Board and Economic Outlook, they also talked about stablecoin. Because in the past they have not talked about stablecoin, but they're talking about stablecoin in a negative way. They are saying that stablecoins are kind of like turning out to be hedge against inflation, and they don't want that thing to happen. They did not actually say they don't want that thing to happen, but they said that cryptocurrencies, particularly stablecoin, not Bitcoin as such, they are turning out to be a safe haven, which may not be a good thing. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And that's one of the reasons why there are regulations for stablecoin as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope it's I'm hoping they don't screw up that part, because they think of the rest of the world. I mean, the rest of the crypto market. I mean, look, they're dependent on stable coins and stuff. So,
particularly the South Asian countries, isn't it? I mean, so hopefully there's not much.
Oh yeah, because they're huge about it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can also get that talk about, like, USDT not complying with Europe and all that stuff. But Europe is like it's a small market. I mean, like, it's insignificant. Why would they spend all that compliance cost just for satisfying Europe? Like, I mean, like, Europe is trying to play, pretending to be the big boys, but when they're really not. I mean, they're playing on the brand value they had in the past, but that's not the case anymore. It's similar to the citizenship thing too. Like, okay, you get like a European passport or something like that, but, or, you open a bank account in Switzerland and stuff, but you're not getting the best service and stuff. So when it comes to money, when it comes to capital flows to places which has least resistance. We're seeing that here in Dubai.
Yeah.
We're seeing that in Southeast Asia. Eventually you will see, what do you say, like in the Far East, and also like in Africa too.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time, because very soon they're going to bypass all this archaic banking system in Africa, which even the regulations in Africa is one of the most repressive, most insane regulations in the world. So, Bitcoin, as well as crypto and stuff, is going to make a huge impact. It's just a matter of time, a matter of when.
And this goes back
so
to,
hopefully
this goes back to, Markose, when we had Mark Robinson in one of our Unfiltered chat, he talked about now there could be potentially war between NATO and between the BRICS nations, isn't it? So to macro
that could
level.
be, I mean, that could be, I mean, that, of course, I mean, that could be possible. I guess when he meant by like the BRIC nations, obviously he's talking about, with Russia. But then again, too, I mean, I mean, like, he's right about it. When we talked, in October or something, or September, I'm not sure. But, if you recall, like, already you have presence of, North Korean brigades, between, Russia and Ukraine. I'm pretty sure there are some Indian forces as well too, or I guess these are more like conscripts than anything else, not as officially army. Then you also got, I'm sure the Chinese also involved in some form or the other. It's if not, but I know they're more active in China. I'm sorry, more active in Africa, but that possible. I guess that possibility is still there. So. But the funny thing is that, like, the one who's bringing up, diplomacy is actually Russia, not NATO. I mean, again, I don't know. It's just funny just seeing some of these reports and stuff. I'm just like, am I living in this clown world? Like, am I seeing this stuff? Like, this is just, and it's there in the open, I guess, like, only, like, I don't know, I just find it, like, strange. So, interesting you brought that up. I think, like, Mike made some, really good points. I'm just like, wow, okay. That's quite the foresight, actually.
Yeah. And, talking about stablecoins, Markose, one news which I covered in today's episode, that has to do with Ripple's RLUSD. And their stablecoin is actually partnering with Chainlink. And Markose, in the last talk, 6 months of 2024, we were talking about Chainlink CCIP, isn't it? So it looks like Ripple partnering with Chainlink is another game changer. So what Ripple stablecoin, and then since the last 24 hours, Ripple's XRP has been pumping up like mad. And what they will be doing is they'll be using Chainlink's price feeds, and that will ensure them security, transparency, and reliability as well. Now, Markose, I personally think that if blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies were to be mainstream, let's say 5x more than what it is, I do feel that Chainlink could be the one that could actually take that to the next level, because they've been making quite a lot of partnership. And what I'm noticing is people have already started implementing it. And for our listeners, they have something called a CCIP, that is cross-lane, a Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol. So essentially, Markose, you have Ethereum, I have Solana, we can go and do the transactions, and that is taking place with Chainlink CCIP protocol. I think it is an absolute genius move, but I'm not sure if the Link token by Chainlink will be impacted much by it, because it is a technology at the end of the day. And they're doing probably the most phenomenal things. And I'm hoping that, Chainlink CCIP is a ChatGPT moment for the cryptocurrency and blockchain adoption. Where people start using it on, rather than using fiat currencies. Maybe that thing should happen probably in 1 or 2 years down the line.
I guess, to go back to the stablecoin thing, I can see why the US, may see stablecoins as a threat, because, I wouldn't be surprised in the coming months, or say the coming years or something. We're going to see more use of stablecoins now.
Yep.
Slowly on the retail level. I guess we already started to see that, because I remember last year I mentioned about here in the UAE, now you're seeing people, instead of, saving their money in their bank accounts, they are saving the money in USDT, and, getting an interest rate of 8% or something like that, or whatever. So, or if you're USDC, it's 10% or something like that. So, which is really, I think, before stablecoin was mostly, its main use case was for high frequency, large scale traders. But now it's starting to bleed into where, it's now part of the everyday crypto Web3 person.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, we're going to see it also expand, I guess, in, maybe in the retail level. So, which is useful. I mean, I wish it was, honestly, we missed a great moment for Bitcoin, many years ago, after the block wars and stuff. But, but we are seeing a lot of people will be storing their wealth in stablecoins, just because it's it's all, I would roughly permissionless, I guess. So, and it's also easier to use. No need to go in an account, log in.
Yeah. No KYC or anything.
And I want to share this because I want to share this because because my partner Lisa, she's right now in Egypt. So, and most people don't have bank accounts in Egypt and stuff. So, but if you want to if she wants to send money from her US account to a UAE account or a Turkish account or whatever, a lot of people have been using Wise.com, for example, and is much better than doing it through your bank, because the banks, they want all kinds of documentation and stuff, and which is quite intrusive. I don't know about the east side, but I feel it's still intrusive. You ask all these documentation, what kind of business of the other person, and you have to ask them. It doesn't make any. It just creates a lot of friction in the business, and that also if you're a big company, I get it. But say for example, George, I want to take drumming lessons from you. I mean, it's smaller one, say $100 or $500, but for me to send you money, the bank is asking your documents. I need documents from this person, who he is, who's George,
even PayPal
all
for
that stuff.
matter.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, yeah, similar in a sense. So I mean, to me, like it's too much of friction.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, like, stablecoin come in, hey, look, bang, bang, there you go.
Exactly.
I look, just teach. I just want you to teach me. Here you go. Here's my $100 in stablecoins, $500 in stablecoins. Hey, I need lessons in this. So I think this is where we're going to see, hopefully, small entrepreneurs and small business people, they will start to see the light, using stablecoins. So I think it will be a big political mess up if these guys try to restrict stablecoins and stuff, and also, like, just because they want to amplify the U.S. hegemony and all that stuff. I mean, that's just
and you talked about drums lessons, Markose. In Facebook Marketplace, some guy was trying to sell a wire which I was supposed to use for my drum kit, and he was saying PayPal, and I didn't mind giving it to PayPal, but PayPal was asking so much of information as to why you're sending it. So I'm not initially I used to use PayPal. It used to not do all these things, but now PayPal is asking for a lot of information. But Markose, I did send it to him, and just that 75 dirham was on hold. And it was on hold, I believe, for almost 10 days. I mean, he did give me the wire, and he was like, it's taken literally 10 days for him. And it was literally $75. Now, a lot of people who are not advocates of stablecoins and cryptocurrency, they say that KYC is needed so that, it's not used for illicit transactions. But all the transactions on USDT or blockchain is publicly verifiable for absolutely anyone to check it, isn't it? And that is something, anyone can go and validate these transactions.
Again, but this is where, like, I don't buy into this BS about, KYC, because here's the thing, like, obviously there are going to be bad actors and stuff. And just because of that, you're going to put the whole, burden on 99.8% of the folks. Look, there are ways to catch criminals and terrorists and, all that stuff. Not through KYC. It would still make no friggin' difference.
Yeah.
To me, this is just about control. Because, like, if these people, whoever, like, if they're supposedly smart or whatever, they know very well, like, this KYC is not going to stop terrorists and stuff.
Yeah.
There are other ways. These, CIA, Mossad, and all these guys, they've been, like, going after some people and stuff. And same thing with, law enforcement too. The reason this KYC thing is just proper, bad bureaucracy. It has nothing to do with, protecting you and all that stuff. Like seriously, you're 75. I mean, it's just, I think, like, I know Bruce Fenton has talked about this a couple of times, like, because, like, because he covered the history of KYC, where it came from and all that stuff. But, like, this is not how, this kind of stuff is not really, like, helping, people overcome their economic problem. Because there are, we also have to remind folks, like, there are economic problems out here. I mean, like, people are trying to, like, make their bread and butter and stuff, and the KYC is not the only thing you got to do. There are better ways to do it. So,
and for our listeners, who are still skeptical, on Netflix there is a documentary called as Dirty Money. And I think, Markose, we've talked about this, maybe we talked about this offline. HSBC, they were one of the first companies who were fined heavily for manipulating KYC information. And you know what they did, Markose? Instead of typing in the alphabet E, they were typing in the alphabet 3 in the name of a person. And they knew that these people, the transaction should not be going through, so it was internally arranged. And they were actually approving these transactions. And the lady who was in charge of HSBC, she was asked to leave, and it's no surprise. She did actually join. I think it was the World Economic Forum or IMF as the head. So, these are... So going back
not even surprised.
Yeah.
Not even surprised. Again, this is... and also, we have also remind the folks listening in when it comes to HSBC is that, like, these guys were fined big time. Like, almost like $500 million or more for money laundering for the cartels, like either the Mexican cartel or the Colombian cartel. But, and this is HSBC. I mean, like, this is one of the most regulated banks. I mean, so, like, again, like, why the burden on everybody else?
Yeah.
So
And
this is where like I guess this is I think what annoys me is like we're just having all these surface level conversations and stuff, but we're not going deep in the heart of the matter and why and all that stuff. So it's like many other things. So I think, but again, the HSBC thing was what, somewhere around like 2013, 2016
correct,
or something.
Yeah. The documentary is still there on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, I mean the one with the cartel money laundering thing, that was like 2016 or something. But still, that's almost what, like
almost a decade now.
7 years ago or something. Yeah, almost a decade, right? So like, wait a minute, like why are we having this conversation? I mean, like, people can't be that slow, but then again, my expectations is also pretty low, so I shouldn't be surprised.
The only thing I can say in UAE, we have something called as UAE Pass. I mean, I'm not sure if banks, they go ahead and accept it or not. I know for a fact that, Adu and Do Mobile and Etisalat Mobile, you can just log in using your UAE Pass. So you don't have to type in your KYC, but again, it is a centralized system. It does not, I'm not sure if it works on a blockchain technology as such, but so far as user experience is concerned, it is ridiculously easy. So you just use your UAE Pass, and it's done.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think, I would be surprised if it is on a blockchain, because it would make sense for it to be, a database, if it's better be centralized. There's no, I guess, I don't know. I just kind of doubt it. I would be surprised. I would be surprised.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Markose, there was an entity in Dubai. They have a permission blockchain for the government. I'm trying to recollect the name, but once I find out, maybe in the next session, we'll definitely go ahead and cover it. Now, Markose, you talked about, transaction being censored, and one of the mottos in the Bitcoin space is not your keys, not your Bitcoin. But there was an interesting news regarding a Bitcoin investor who had to actually surrender his keys. And the court did actually ask one of the Bitcoin OGs, his name is Richard Algin, the number 3 or 3rd, and he was asked to surrender his keys. And they unlocked $124 million in crypto as part of a tax fraud case. Now, I'm not sure in the United States of America, Markose, and let me know if I'm right on this or not. I think it is not illegal to pay your tax or to not pay your taxes, but it is illegal if you go ahead and put any incorrect or falsified information in the tax form, isn't it? Something on those lines.
Oh yeah.
Am I right in saying that legally in United States of America, you're not entitled to pay the tax, but you are supposed to fill in the tax, and if you fill out incorrect information in the tax, then you're liable, or you could face penalties, something on those lines, nothing to do with UAE as such.
It is. All I can say is when it comes to the income tax, it is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So because there are ex-IRS folks, lawyers out there, constitutional lawyers, who they have made a really good case and also proven that like actually it is unconstitutional. As far as but then again, like you would have to like fight for your rights. So unfortunately, I mean, like there are some people who have won the cases, but you won't see that in the news.
Yeah.
But there also been some sacrificial lambs who didn't pay income tax and stuff and fought for it. But, due to government, let's say intervention and, like sometimes they play dirty tricks, they got some people in jail. So a good example is Peter Schiff's dad, Irvin Schiff. So he's in jail almost for life because he fought against the U.S. government that, hey, the income tax is unconstitutional, is wrong. And, which is kind of sad, but, but it kind of also, I can also see why, like, Peter Schiff, in some cases he is, kind of against the U.S. government and stuff, like, that's he's talking about gold and all that stuff, but he doesn't go far enough, especially, hey, you would like Bitcoin, but I know, everyone has their own personal, side story or something, but, as far as, because when it comes to the income tax, if you do it wrong or something like that, then you could be liable or something. But which is kind of ridiculous because like when you ask them, okay, how much do you owe? Then they know you have to figure it out. but if you pay us wrong, then, like, you'll be legally liable, so, like, it's a really screwy situation. And
Is it
like,
on similar lines to what is going on with Roger War as well? Or is that completely
yeah,
different?
in a
Something
sense, in
similar,
a
right?
sense it is. But see, that is because it's so complicated. Like, and people think, oh, just pay, like, all, like who's this guy, like Jameson Loop and all that stuff. Like, I mean, a lot. Sorry, Jameson Loop. Like, oh, he just should pay his taxes and all that stuff. Yeah, but Roger got 3 law firms to, figure out, hey, how much he should pay. That's the thing. And then you got the U.S. government also raiding the lawyers' offices, which broken the, what do you say, the client privilege and all that stuff. So this is why, like, I'm just blown away. Like, have most of these people ever looked at the tax books and all that stuff? It is big. It is massive. I mean, like, it is hard to keep up. I mean, like, that is how, no matter what, you still get screwed over because of taxes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with who's the Chicago gangster, Al Capone or whatever. Like, the only reason they got him in jail is because of taxes. I mean, like, oh, you missed a phone bill or something, or you owe this much. So, that is how they get you. But it's never. The point is that the tax system in the United States is not that clear. But it's what is interesting is that 60% of the tax code actually reduces your tax bill, your tax rate, but it's super complicated. So you need to get, like, a good tax, like a really good CPA, tax attorney. I don't know, you name it, but it's just crazy, man. So so it's a classic case. So I don't know. So if that could happen to him or other people, look, if you're an American or whatever, it'll happen to you too.
Yep.
So,
and in this case, they had to actually surrender.
They might not get you on free speech, but they'll get you on
if
taxes.
They want to get you, they can get you in any ways. And in this case, Markose, for this individual, he had to actually surrender his private keys. So the only thing I can say is, for people, and this is something which we did say in the last session as well, hello, bitches, in Dubai, we don't have any income tax. So it's kind of much more easy over here, isn't it? Now, the next thing which I wanted to talk about is, Markose, and I'm not sure if you saw this video, and I believe it was day before yesterday, or rather yesterday at 1 a.m. in the morning, and President Trump, he did actually go live via Mar-a-Lago, his residence, and the Mark Group CEO, that is, I think he's in Emirati, if I'm not mistaken. That is
he's Emirati.
He was the one who was introduced, and there was a beautiful introduction. And what has happened is, the Mark Group will be investing $20 billion. And I think one of the projects is Ednex Data Centers, which is by DeMark. They will be investing $20 billion in the United States of America. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is, all this investment will be flown into artificial intelligence. So, they already are working on building data centers in Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Ohio, Illinois, as well as Michigan as well. And even Indiana, yeah. And
nice.
Last month, Markose, I did actually see SoftBank CEO. He's a Japanese guy, Masayoshi Son. He actually committed to investing $100 billion. And again, all these funds will be going into, most of them at least will be going into United States of America. Now, regarding Dubai's news, I think, artificial intelligence, Markose, is definitely making a massive, massive news. Now, am I right in saying, Markose, that since the last maybe 3 months, investment in AI is significantly higher than investment flowing into the cryptocurrency and blockchain space? This is what my take is. What is your thoughts regarding investment flowing in at a macro level, in comparison to cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin?
That's a great question. I guess if you asked me like last year or something, I think, there's a lot of money flowing into AI. But I guess in the coming months, I do believe that there will be a shift where, folks will be, capital will flow into the crypto markets again. So
I also agree with you.
And also in terms of within the crypto space, you have like, DeFi, RWAs, gaming.
Yep.
But the highest one are those who are in the AI space. So there's been how do you say, kind of like almost like kind of like a banana, upward, traction. So yeah, so like, I think either way, I think, look, when it comes to there's money flowing to AI and stuff, crypto will get some sort of benefit out of it. So, because at least a good thing here in the Web3 is that it is encompassing. It connects, different segments and stuff. So, you'll see some of the AI startups projects. They'll gain a lot of traction, and lately too, you'll see a couple of a couple of partnerships. What do you say? Uh, Connecting in the under the umbrella of AI. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm starting to see. So
one report which I read is, Mubadala's investment in AI, that is from Abu Dhabi, that is greater than, the public investment from Saudi Arabia. So, that is looking good, particularly for UAE, at least when you talk about artificial intelligence investment. But one thing which I agree to, that there is a very high possibility that the investment will be flowing back to cryptocurrencies. And the reason is, in 2020, Markose, when Mark Zuckerberg changed the name from Facebook to Meta, in 2021, I very specifically remember a lot of investment was actually going into Metaverse. And there was so much of hype regarding Metaverse. And everyone used to talk about Metaverse via LinkedIn. And that's one of the reasons why I even named one of the series called as Metaverse Everything. Because everyone was becoming experts in Metaverse. And in 2023, there was a report that is published that 90% of the investors in Metaverse lost their money. And all of the funds that did eventually flow back into cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying that investment in AI would actually go for a loss, because AI is here and you can definitely see some of the great results. People have already started using artificial intelligence. Now, one thing, Markose, before we forget, you talked about, how stablecoin is being used in other parts of the countries, particularly in Dubai. Now, when I was checking the news regarding Damak properties, if you actually go to the website, even they accepted the USDT. So, if you go to the Damak properties website, they accept Bitcoin, and I think they accept, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure if it is Solana or if it is one of the cryptocurrencies, and then they are also accept Tether USDT as well. So, the use case in Dubai is definitely there. Now, let's talk about the other thing which I wanted to touch base is, Markose, in 2025, there are a couple of elections coming up. I think that, in 2025, the whole narrative, keeping in mind the elections, I think it is, there's elections taking place in Canada, there's elections taking place in Poland. I'm pretty much sure Bitcoin Reserve will be a hot topic. And what I'm understanding is both sides of politics, they're trying to become advocates of Bitcoin because they want to go out and get their votes. But according to you, Markose, which country do you think will be the first to make an announcement? Do you think it will be Switzerland? Japan, I think they have said no to it. Will it be Canada or UK? What do you think? Or do you think it may not happen as well? To go out and make an announcement that, we are going ahead and buying, let's say, 2,000 or 3,000 Bitcoin, putting it as a strategic reserve and making that announcement. Do you have any country in mind, or do you think no country will do that?
I don't know. I guess the recent news I heard about the Czech Republic.
Oh yes,
I think they have I'm not whether they already have one, or I think they're planning to make an announcement. I need to look into that. But I do recall.
Yeah,
it's happening today, right? That's the thing. So that's only news I know. But other than that, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know about any other countries making any announcements with regards to setting up their own Bitcoin strategic reserve. I guess it's still early, I guess. If not, then I guess some countries, just like Bhutan, have been quiet about it. They've been just taking it quiet and slow. So
I think if it will be the first world country who makes an announcement, that will drive the momentum, isn't it? If let's say El Salvador does not do much, I think so. This is at least my honest opinion. Or even if let's say if India says, I don't think so, it'll drive the market as much. But let's say if UK or Switzerland, they go and say something, that I do feel other countries will try to replicate and follow it. I feel it might just be Switzerland, but I could be miserably wrong. And there's just a tiny difference, between Bitcoin Reserve and Strategic Reserve. Strategic Reserve is The existing Bitcoins will not be sold, but in Bitcoin Reserve, they will be buying Bitcoin, shedding out their own money and buying more Bitcoin. So, that is, I think, could be a game changer. I think more importantly, just the announcement that, we've made a decision to go ahead and buy Bitcoin and make that decision. Now, one final thing, Marcus, which I wanted to touch base is regarding Bitcoin governance. And looks like they want to go ahead and make Bitcoin magical again. And this is done by, Taproot wizards.
Bitcoin magical again?
Yeah. So, Eric Wall and UD Wartmer, who always wears sunglasses on his videos. I think he used to be an Ethereum maximalist, but now he's switching back to Bitcoin, being a Bitcoin maximalist. But anyways, Eric Wall, UD Wartmer, and Francisco Laca, they are coming up with something called as Bitcoin Covenant Markers. So what that essentially is, I as a sender can put certain codes and conditions when I go and send you Bitcoin. Now, if we talk about it in decentralized finance context, this would mean, you can tackle things like, Bitcoin-backed loan, cross-chain bridges, Bitcoin stablecoin swap, and quite a lot of other things. Now, they are brilliant use cases, but what if, CBDC, if it gets launched, government starts to do that, where the sender goes and makes all the conditions. So because this money is programmable, one of the things what they want to do by implementing governance in Bitcoin is the sender can go ahead and put certain conditions. To explain it to someone, what I can think of is, let's say, Markose, let's say if you have 2 kids and if you want to give them weekly allowance, you can go ahead and give them weekly allowance, and you can go ahead and put conditions that this Bitcoin can only be spent with this particular address. Now, the good thing is if someone wants to go ahead and hack those accounts, it cannot be hacked because there are certain conditions that the money can be spent only on these places. Now, going back to Bitcoin Reserve, you can go ahead and put a condition that, let's say, these Bitcoins, if they are bought, they will not be sold for the next 5 years. And even hackers, if they try to hack it, it cannot be hacked because the transactions will not go through. So there are teeny tiny benefits to it, but I think there are more problems to it as well, isn't it? That is what I can think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have covered pretty much everything. The only thing I wanted to touch base is regarding, the cryptocurrency market. Unfortunately, Marcus, since the last 72 hours, the volume is ridiculously low. Usually what happens is if the prices are going down and if the volume of stablecoins is increasing, this means that in the next coming days and weeks, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be pumping up. But since the last 72 hours, the prices have been going down and the volume of stablecoins isn't that great. It is definitely much better than, the previous part of this year, 2024. But in comparison to November, it is almost half of what it is. So let's see how the price reacts, particularly over the weekend. And Radium, the exchange with Solana blockchain, that is been at number 1 for the past 5 to 6 days. Just today it is at number 2, and Uniswap, the 24-hour volume is at number 1. So it looks like since the last 7 to 10 days, a lot of activity is actually taking place in Solana blockchain. So it looks like a lot of Solana fanboys will be really excited as to what is going on in the world of Solana blockchain. But yeah, I think we have covered pretty much everything, Marcos, in today's episode, isn't it? I'm not sure there's anything much to cover about. And I'm just reading the news right now regarding Bhutan's economic hub to set up strategic crypto reserve. So rather than Bitcoin now, it is turning out to be a crypto strategic reserve. So I'm not sure if they want to go ahead and put stable coins, and something which you mentioned as well, putting Tether USDT as a strategic reserve to countries where there's high inflation. It does make a lot of sense. But let's say in developed countries or where the currency is relatively stable, it does not make sense to go ahead and buy Tether USDT and put it as a strategic reserve in it. I'm not sure what the inflation in Bhutan is. But yeah. And I'm just reading right now, Marcus, Bhutan already has $1.1 billion in Bitcoin. That is absolutely great, brother. I just read it right now. So you're right.
I know, yeah. So, that was cool. Quite a surprise, though. Not many people, cover that. I was like, man, that's interesting, though. It was just under the radar all this time. So good on them, though. Good on them. Like, at least, I think the good thing, like, I think I would expect, like, my belief is, like, I don't see, like, some of the big countries, larger countries or the first world countries, get into, set up a kind of like a Bitcoin strategic reserve is that, just like Switzerland and all the other countries, they all have like, democracies. They all have like, they have to like, get all the people to vote for it and stuff, which will not really work out pretty fast though, because there are others who will not agree with it because it's a taxpayer money. Like this needs to be channeled to other activities like, like say charities or some social reforms or something like that. But I guess when it comes to like smaller countries, they have they can maneuver, they can move fast. They could, someone could be this benevolent dictator, for lack of a better word. You know what? Let's make the decision. So
for Bhutan it says,
or say this.
For Bhutan it says Bitcoin as well as Ethereum as well. Is that right, Markose? Or I didn't know.
I only know about the Bitcoin thing. I don't know about Ethereum, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just looking at it right now because you told me about that, and it says cryptocurrency strategic reserve, and looks like it includes Bitcoin as well as Ethereum. But maybe one trend which I've noticed is a lot of companies are buying a lot of Bitcoin. Not only governments, a lot of companies, they're buying smaller amounts and just trying to replicate what MicroStrategy is doing. So let's see, if that thing turns out to be beneficial or not. But yeah,
I think that part makes sense though. Yeah, but positive for me, like, as much as I want, like, more individuals to have some Bitcoins, or, like spread across, I think that to me that's what's going to make, Bitcoin pretty powerful. But you know what? But to be an objectivist, I would say, hey, you know what? Let's have, several, like many companies, create their own Bitcoin treasury.
Yeah.
For future growth and stability and all that stuff. So that way, like, I think that could be one way to strengthen Bitcoin's resolve. No, not only just, I mean, not because of the network effect and all that stuff, but there's also what you call the brand effect too. I think that's something to I think for us to think about, hey, try to get as many companies, to either our treasury, but honestly, my belief is like, before the block wars and stuff, Microsoft, Expedia, Steam, like they all accepted Bitcoin as payments. I mean, like, I would want more companies to start accepting Bitcoin as payments, start accepting crypto as payments. I think this is where like, it'll be a big win for everybody, and especially for the folks in the global south. I think like whether stablecoins or Monero and all that stuff, like, which I really believe will make a lot of difference. I think this is a great opportunity. So
I mean, but let's say
not to miss out.
Would you be willing to pay Bitcoin for smaller transactions? I know for a fact now I would not, because the price is going up so high, isn't it? But let's say if you want to go ahead and
but also
but
for me, like the transaction fees too. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense. So like, and now BTC is sort of like this digital gold thing. So that's about it. But I mean, if you're making like large payments, but it's supposed to be peer to peer, but I don't know, we moved across that. So obviously I will not use BTC for a small transaction, even using the Lightning Network and all that stuff, because like, that's not even as feasible.
You may as well use stablecoins for that, isn't it, to make regular purchases?
Yeah, or I guess I'm just speaking like for the regular people and stuff. It just makes sense to use credit card or something.
Yep.
And you spend, you make your purchases, get your points, play the game, and like just don't be in debt. That's the only thing that's the only thing you got to do in this time frame, especially if you're like not into crypto and all that stuff. So, I don't know. That's a
and I think we're pretty much done with everything else, right? Do you have any update from Oort Foundation or Society X? Anything interesting?
No, not much. With Oort, I guess with Oort, we have just planned to organize some sort of some events. When I mean like events, these are more, how do you say, like The idea is to have more like, curated, community meetups with, select people. The aim is not to make it like the big groups and all that stuff, but to get like, like-minded people get together, work together, that kind of stuff. Definitely we'll plan to partner with some other people in organizing, these demo days. The reason is that like now with the Oort Foundation, we do have the Oort grant program, which is actually under the eyes of Mike Robinson, who we had on the show here. So we're looking to like support some really good quality projects all around the world, and so we were gonna support these demo days in Latin America, in Miami, also here in Dubai too. So I'm excited to do that. So we're gonna right now it's still in the works, still underground. But so we identify some good partners and take it from there. So definitely we'll see some more. And that's about it.
Yeah, that's great. And from my end, I have a second podcast, Markose, called as the Race-Based Podcast. So in case any of the listeners who are into running an obstacle course race, I'm interviewing the managing director and the race director of Spartan Race Middle East. So please feel free to go and check it out. And I did have a really great interview with a guy called Cyrus Rustam. 3 interviews actually. I had one interview regarding his Bitcoin investment. The second one was regarding a fitness event that is scheduled to take place on the 25th of January. I'm sure a lot of the guys are into fitness. You definitely need to check out the Crucible Athlete. I think they have a prize money of 100,000 dirhams. And it is just a matter of 40 minutes workout. So if there are some guys who are into the gym and who are into heavy workout, you need to check out the Crucible Athlete. And I was interviewed on his channel as well. So we talked about Bitcoin and how to secure Bitcoin and quite a lot of other things. And hopefully one day we can have him on our Unfiltered chat as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Definitely can use some fitness advice and all that stuff.
Yeah. He's a BC. He was a commando.
I think I saw that some of the clips, and definitely looks great in shape, quite energetic.
But other than that, if anyone wants to join in for Spartan Obstacle Course Race 25th and 26th, it's going to be at Dubai Parks and Resorts. And if anyone has any question you want me to ask them, I'm more than happy to ask them that as well. And we might be having a photo and a video shoot. So one half of the host of Unfiltered Chat might be in some video promo. So that should be fun.
Yeah,
I think we have covered everything, Markose.
Right. Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. All right. So, hey, folks, this is our time to go. We got big things to do, big plans for, the Unfiltered Chat and also Bitcoin, DXB, and some interesting, little ventures between yours truly and also George from Blockchain DXB, who's the host of Crypto and Coffee at 8. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We'll talk to you soon.